This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield and his better half, Marney Winfield.
They might be talking to you, but they're walking right over to the coffee. Kind of like my cat. When I do a podcast, she just walks across the keyboard. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same thing.
On a mission.
Yeah, she is. Anyway, sorry. Should we start this over?
If you want to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
It is the 31st of August, 2021. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marney Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Welcome. Go in the studio with us as well. And now she's walking across the board. I don't know if it's now she's playing with the board.
Actually trying to mess with the controls. That's the first.
Do I need to turn that one up? She's playing with the pots. Like we have a board in here, like a soundboard.
Oh man, I so should video that.
Yeah. Now she's trying to eat
biting it.
Should we start this one over? Crazy.
And of course, she stops right when I get my camera out.
Yeah, she knows what's going on.
Sneaky kitty.
No evidence. So you had a busy weekend, sort of. You had a fun weekend. Way better than you had thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah. Fantasy football.
Yes. Now
I did fairly well.
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. You drafted your own team this year.
I did.
This is your second year of fantasy football. You're trying something new. Last year, auto drafted for you. There were some guys you liked, but
I couldn't take any credit for it.
Yeah.
Really.
Now, this year, after the draft, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we're sitting there, and Charles went with us. And you're just like, the rest of the night, you're like, when are games? I want to watch the games now. Like, you're just so into it. And
I know, because I want to see it all go down.
It's fun. So now you're kind of getting the excitement, which I think is pretty awesome. And it is, fantasy football. It's something I never thought I could do sober, and I can do it sober. It's way more fun when you're sober. Mm-hmm. So it's cool that people are in the 217 sober league and, playing for a little something this year, which is nice. So give people incentive to want to do better.
I'll tell you what, though, if you had asked me 2 years ago if I was going to be participating in fantasy football, I would laugh at you. No way. I mean, I'd be like, nah, not my thing.
Be like,
Man.
Yeah, pretty much.
God, I'm not playing fantasy football. No thanks.
Yeah, no.
It's funny because 2 years ago, where were you?
Oh, man.
Were you just going into treatment?
Mm-hmm. I was just going into treatment. I don't think I was there yet, but I was on my way.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yesterday, well, actually yesterday you celebrated your 2-year sober anniversary. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How'd that feel?
It feels good. It's, I really appreciate everyone in their congratulatory, little messages and stuff. That's awesome. And, every day is a celebration. Every day is, another day of living in recovery, which is, absolutely amazing. So, I'm just completely grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the stuff that I went through to get to where I am now.
Now, could you imagine just getting married like a few days ago? Actually, you got married 8 months ago, but still, that's where I was. Like, I had just gotten married, got my 2 years. It was awesome. Does the time for you seem faster yet slower?
Yes.
Isn't that the weirdest?
Yeah.
Is it because we remember more?
I just think that the days are full, we're actually living in our, in the moment and remembering things and kind of appreciating even the days that are hard, you're present for them. And sometimes with that comes a lot of feelings and it's a lot of work, to be present. That's part of the reason why I used, is because I couldn't mentally take on, the hurt and pain and difficulty of what I thought life was going to only ever be for me. So it was just easier to just numb myself out and exist, if that. That's what it felt like. So, and when I look at everything that I've accomplished in that short amount of time, it's just unbelievable.
You've had some bad times in there as well.
I have.
Some crazy times.
Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing that I just, in kind of my own personal reflection of like what this last 2 years has meant to me, and I want to use the word sacrifices that I've made, which is, I don't know if that's really an appropriate word to use, because it's more about just the changing my life. But the things that I removed from the life that I was living, I don't miss them at all. Whether they were people, whether they were places, whether they were things, whether they were jobs, whether they were anything, all of it that I left behind, I don't miss it. I don't miss it. And I know that I'm a better person without those things. And some of them were difficult. Some decisions that I made, I questioned if I actually had to remove that person, place, or thing from my life. But in all honesty, the fresh start, that whole concept of starting over at, 40 years old is like, who does that? It's never too late to start over. And you might think it doesn't make any sense and that, you're way too far deep down the hole of, addiction to dig yourself out. And there's way too much garbage that, you've experienced or brought into the world, or, that's not true. It's not true, because it's all about who I am today. And that I'm grateful for. And the fact that I focus on being a better me helps me help other people. And that makes me happy. That brings me joy. I'm a better daughter. I'm a better sibling. I'm a better wife. I wouldn't have even been a wife, I'm sure. I'll be a better mother. I'm a better employee. All that stuff is only real because I decided to choose recovery.
We had our weekly guys get together at Buffalo Wild Wings again. Mm-hmm. They should start sending donations to us. I should ask them for some. But one of the guys said, he's like, yeah, man. And he was from, I think, Midland, but that's pretty close to Saginaw, and he lived there for a minute. But he was saying for him, he had to get out of that situation. He had to leave that place. And there's like 3 people at the table in the same situation, all sober with years plus under their belt, and they do the same thing. It's not like, hey, I'm going to run off with this boy to Florida. That's probably not going to work. But if you do need to change the scenery, do that, get that fresh start. Now, I wouldn't just move to get a job. If you're moving and you're going into sober living, that's cool. I mean, if you can't do sober living, but you need to move for a job, then, hey, you got to do what you got to do. But just thinking, well, I'm going to get this new job and I'm going to go there and then nobody's going to know I have a problem, and I'll just drink on Fridays and Saturdays, and I'll make sure that I'm not drinking Sunday because that way Monday I can get back into work, or that's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Or if you're using and you're like, well, I can just use, in the morning, and that'll kind of get me going through the day, and I won't be sick or nothing, and I won't use it too much, and then you use the wrong stuff. Somebody gives you some bunk stuff, and you're dead. That happens quite a bit. Don't think that, I'll just use a little bit here and there. I'll just do that. I'll just drink a little bit here. No. Not if you really want the good life that Marnie's talking about. The life that I talk about, the change, the new beginning, the fresh start. When I go to the store, nobody knows me. It's great. Back home, I go to the store, it's, it's that change. The guy here at the liquor store, whatever one is around the corner, I'm sure there's one. No idea who I am. Where this is where my friend Adam, I think, was kind of getting stuck, because he would go to the same place that he would buy his liquor at. I need to get smokes. Well, he goes in there, and he might be not drinking for 2-3 months. He might be doing better. He might be doing great. But then it's like, I got to keep up appearances. I got to let this guy know that, yeah, I am cool. I just took a break for a while, man. That happens. And how about you give me a pint of that, and then he'll do what everybody else does, bounce around different liquor stores so that they don't know it's you. You're the alcoholic guy. You only go there once or twice a week, Used to do that all the time. But he gets trapped into that whole, yeah, I'm all right. I gotta show him that I'm all right, because I'm feeling good. And this guy's my friend. I used to think that the people were my friends, the guys at the liquor store. They just worked there, man. Like, those were my drug dealers. I had to do what they said. I had to put on a little show for them. Like, oh yeah, man, it's cool. I'm on the radio. I'm cool. I can drink. So stupid. But yeah, it's nice that I don't have those memories here. When we went to my niece's birthday party and we went downstate, you slept the whole time that I took you through my old city I used to live in. But that was it wasn't bad. I didn't have any urges to use, but if anything, it was sad for me to think that, these neighbors saw me leave out of that apartment probably about 5-6 times, being taken in the ambulance, and the last time in a cop car. They must have thought, this dude, what's he doing? And then when I would come back from the store with my little black bag, they knew what was in there. They're probably like, does this dude not get it? What's his problem? I didn't talk to anybody, so I didn't really care, but looking back at it, just when I pulled up, it's like, oh, there's where I used to park my car. And it's just like, man.
Twilight Zone. I mean, it was creepy. Because nobody wants to picture that.
All right. Yeah, just thinking back at that apartment I lived in, I lived there alone, and it was just, the bathroom smelled like smoke, because I guess the lady used to live there smoking. And you can smoke in there. I don't know why she would just go in the bathroom and smoke. So the whole bathroom always smelled like smoke. It was horrible. And it was yellow. It was just ugly bathroom. Just an ugly, dark place to live. I don't know. I just look back at it and I just shake my head. Like, what was I thinking, man? I don't know. We had to go down those roads, that's for sure. And I wouldn't change anything. So that's the kind of attitude that has moved me forward. Now it's, I wish I didn't do that. Can't do nothing about it, man. Just move forward. What can I do today? What are my goals? Where's my vision? Where do I want to be in a year? And I still won't be where I want to be, even if I'm there.
I do believe that.
Looking back 2 years ago, there's a lot of things you'd have been like, what? No, that's not me. I'm not going to be doing that. You're going to be managing sober living houses? What?
Right.
Are you kidding me? No. In 2 years? How am I going to do that? I don't know. That's craziness, and those are the things that happen. And the crazy things do happen when you're sober, like good things, things that you thought would have never happened. I was thinking about that today, and I was like, how did I even start driving people to treatment? Who came up with that? How, what, when, why, who? It's a God thing. And I'm like, how did I fill out all the paperwork for the 501c3? Is 100 million pages. How did I get all of that right the first time? I did take my time, which I think was very wise. But how did I do that? How did I have the time? I don't know. Like, it's those things that you just a little bit today and it adds up.
Yeah.
I've talked about the little saying that was on the radio glass. There's a glass where you could look into the studio in Benton Harbor when I started my career there. And it said just a little bit better today than yesterday. I've talked about it on here before, but that's it, man. Just a little bit better today than yesterday. Add up 365, just a little bit betters. That's quite a bit better. And you multiply that, like, what? Yeah, just try just a little bit better today. Don't be perfect. Just a little bit better today. Kelly was supposed to call today. Actually, he was supposed to call me yesterday. And he's going to blame it on me. But he's got over 6 months clean now. And I told him that he could be on the podcast when he had 6 months clean. So he called me late last week. And I told him, all right, Tuesday, wrote it on my calendar and everything. And I thought, no, he's going to have to call me. Does he want to be on the podcast, or could somebody get something on what he has to say? Probably. But I'm going to have to send him in that direction, if you know what I mean. Like, because he'll just be like, I'm Jamie Kelly. I'm a Marine. I do stuff that's awesome. And I'm going to have to be like, all right, Jamie, now what's it like with you and your daughter now? I'm going to take him down all those paths he doesn't want to go. And maybe he will talk about it. If he wants to be on my podcast, he will.
Now you're really inviting him on right now.
I know. See, now I'm baiting him is what I'm doing. It's all your fault, Jamie.
Say challenge accepted.
It's all your fault, Jamie.
Come on, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. They're not laughing at you, Jamie. Laughing with you. He's not laughing. No. But we'll have him on soon, though, for sure. And I just want him to call me about it, Someone once told me when, I think it was one of my first sponsors, because I would always hear from other people like, oh, my sponsor does this and that, blah, blah, blah. And my sponsor makes me call him every day at 3 and this and that. Like, that's a beatdown, man. But my sponsor was like, you can call me if you want, but I'm not answering every day. You can leave me a message if you want, but I'm not listening to it. I was like, what? He was like, this is my time. This is my life too. And I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. And I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not. I drank again. I didn't call him. I don't know. Like it didn't last very long with him, but that was on me. There was nothing that I think that was kind of maybe his point. There's nothing that he can do. He can tell me that's going to stop me from drinking. I need to come to that conclusion myself because he knew about all my relapses. And last thing he wants to do is hear me blah, 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 blah into him. And maybe that's not a good sponsor. I don't know. I don't have a sponsor now. I go to AA meetings every once in a while. Not as many as I used to. In early recovery, I used to go to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a week. Now I do 3.5 podcasts a week. I talk about recovery all the time. I don't know. It's just different where I'm at now. But I like going to meetings. I like meeting other people in recovery. I think that's pretty awesome.
I mean, there are tools that you utilize to help yourself stay clean and sober. You can't look to another person to get you clean and sober. You cannot look to a treatment center to get you clean and sober. You cannot look to a doctor or an injection or a pill to get you clean and sober. Those are things that you utilize and incorporate into your program to get yourself clean and sober. You do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. You make those choices. You make those decisions. Are there things that you can access that will make it more clear and be able to easier to make those decisions? You cannot look to a therapist to get you clean and sober. and this is where it gets tricky because you'd say you cannot look to a priest to get you clean and sober. Having a relationship with your higher power, that's having a relationship. That's you doing the work along with making the connection with whoever you choose to call your higher power, God or whatever,
Yeah. There was a guy that I was talking to, and he had just left treatment, and he was all upset because that place didn't fix him. That place is supposed to help me. The place is supposed, and I was like, oh my gosh. And of course, not my place to tell him to do anything. So I didn't, I just listened. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wow, this guy, he's going to have a longer road than he thinks. And he started in with the therapist. This is a therapist. She's supposed to help me, and she's supposed to do this and that, and she's supposed to be there for me. And it's like, I don't know. And again, it's not my place to tell him, well, here's what I use my therapist for, is to get my problems off my chest. My therapist listens. Mm-hmm. My therapist isn't Albert Einstein. Sorry, Susan, but she's not. And it's not her job to be. Her job is to get me to get those emotions out, and then to think about, okay, well, why am I so worked up over this? Or why is this bothering me? Or what can I do about the situation? Because I don't like feeling those ways. And when I'm worried, the other day when I spoke with her, I was worried, and I didn't like seeing my wife in the hospital. And so we talked about that, and I don't know, there's a lot of fear there, I think. But we talked about it, and I talked about it, and I got it off my chest. So that's, again, what I use my therapist for. But I didn't go into that with him. I didn't tell him this is what I use my therapist for. I just thought, wow, long road ahead, man. Mm-hmm. And not that, I'm not going to get into any background with him, but there were a lot of issues, I think. There's a lot of issues that a lot of people have. So it's different for everyone. But my advice to you, if you're listening today, is don't think your therapist is going to fix everything, and use people in your life. Use your therapist. Use all the tools, like Marney said. Use all those tools how you need them. Mm-hmm. Go to meetings. Get that off your chest. I went to a meeting last week with a guy, and in their reading it said, keep your shares to AA related or drinking problem or something like that. And I was just out loud. I must give him a man, mm-hmm. because you don't know what problem is going to make you go back and use. Mm-hmm. It could be I stubbed my toe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It could be they didn't have my ice cream at their, don't ever shop on Tuesdays. Tuesday apparently is the worst day of the week to shop. That's just advice. It's free for me and you, for me to you. Anyway, it could be that. It could be the store not having your ice cream. Or your jelly.
You're sure that Tuesdays are the worst day?
Worst day ever.
He was just today.
Or, okay, Tuesday or the last day of the month. Don't ever shop on those days.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can go back on a Tuesday just to try it out. Maybe it's the last day of the month. I don't know. But I was shopping today. They didn't have anything. It's horrible. But I didn't drink today, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Definitely not drinking over jelly or ice cream. But I'm just saying, you never know. Everybody's different. So use those meetings, use those people for what you need them. Therapists will listen. They'll work some stuff out with you. They'll have you work it out for yourself. Meetings, those people, they're there, man. They're there for an hour. They can leave if they want to. That's on them. If they don't want to hear what you're talking about, they can leave. They can tell you to shut up. And then you could say, okay, just one more minute and keep going and then leave yourself. Those are options. Mm-hmm. Those are things you can control. So there you go. Just don't shop on Tuesdays or the last day of the month.
There you go.
That's my big takeaway today.
I know. I'm soaking it all in.
That and fantasy football is awesome. And we got apparently the other day, I mentioned something about Walmart. They donated to 217 Recovery.
Yay.
Well, yeah, that's why I said. I was like, man, that's cool. Big props. And then I got an email and it said, get with the store manager and talk about how you guys are going to announce this.
Oh.
And I said, okay. I didn't say anything, actually. I just thought, well, we kind of already did. Oops. No, but I'm going to go talk to him, though.
Yeah.
I think it's very awesome. And I was getting ready to type up a nice super duper letter. Say thank you so much for supporting people in recovery. Again, it's not the amount. It's the fact that people.
They're recognizing
yes.
that. Feels good.
And it's kind of a big deal.
It's a big deal, yeah.
And it just makes me tear up a little bit.
You should bring him a shirt.
Maybe it's a her.
So bring him a shirt. I meant them a shirt. Bring him a shirt.
So we'll size them up. That's what we'll do. You go with me. Mm-hmm. Bring some sweatshirts, all kinds of stuff, some hats.
Okay.
And I'm like, honey, get the stuff.
For sure.
Or you can be like, oh, I got to go poop. Hold on. And then as you go to the bathroom, just hit the door.
I'll just bring a size of everything.
I know. And just keep it in the car.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So but it's a good idea. It's a great idea. We should. I wonder if I should bring him a poster of myself.
I mean, you could bring him some stickers.
I wonder if I should have Nico autograph a poster. Because remember, I was going to sell that for $1 million. Or whoever donated $1 million is going to get an autographed picture of Nico, and she was going to sign it with her paw autographed. Nobody. That's a one of a kind. Like that right there is probably worth about $6 million. Trump's probably buy it. It's art, baby.
I guess, yeah.
How many cats have autographed pictures?
I don't know.
Go ahead. Think about it. I'll wait. None.
All that I can think of.
No. I've never heard of a cat autographing anything. But Nika would do it.
Yeah.
She's all about recovery, too. She knows she's living such a better life. And that's another thing. You're animals, man. I talk to her all the time about it, and I tell her that I'm sorry, but she forgives me.
I've heard you.
I had to leave her at my parents' house, and she just stayed in like a bedroom, a small bedroom, for 8 months. I mean, my stepdad would feed her and give her water and stuff, change her litter, but like, that's all she had. Like, nobody was going in there to give her love-ins. Like, nobody was talking to her. Like, it was prison for her. And I feel so bad, but there's nothing I can do about it. And at that time, that's exactly where I needed to be able to be right here with her right now. And I'm sure she appreciates it. She didn't know what was going on at the time, but treatment and sober living are things I had to do. I've heard people go, oh, I can't do sober living because I got a dog. Well, you can't leave the dog with somebody. I could, but it's my dog, man. Okay. Teach his own. I made the choice to go, damn, and it hurt me. And that was another thing that motivated me to want to get out of sober living. And then when I went on to be the manager of the house, that was one thing I was like, well, I'm not going to do it unless I can bring my cat. And he's like, oh, all right. Bring your cat. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll keep her in the room with me. He's like, oh, you can let her out. I'm like, no, she has claws and I'm not really trying to buy your furniture. Thanks.
Good decision.
Yeah. But hopefully you enjoy the podcast today.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Me too.
And that's not all I got. So I'm offering up today. We'll have more on Thursday.
All right.
Thanks for listening. 217recovery.com. You want to win a shirt? Well, that's where you go. Sign up. There's resources. Now, if you go to resources, if you go on the phone and your phone, you have to click the little arrow and then it drops down like different types of resources. There's like living, and then there's, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's different ones you can click on. But one of them has all the resources for reentry programs, for housing, for food, for clothes, battered women. there's resources for pretty much everything on there. Mm-hmm. So take advantage of that. Also, there's some sober living stuff on there if you're interested or know someone who might be. Check out our website from time to time and download our app as well. And you can get that in the app stores. Just search 217 Recovery.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. Appreciate your support.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app and support recovery by rating us in the App Store.